So this is Warrior. He's a gaited horse that came in for some help with some ground manners and to see if we can't help him find all of his gaits again. And just kind of get him rebalanced and solid mentally and physically. Back up. I just started introducing him, asking him to back up when I put a little bit of wiggle in that lead rope, and he's just catching on to that real fast. He might already know a little bit of that. Back up, back up. Not a response. There we go. We'll bring that up a little bit. There we go. Asking for just a step or two at a time. I don't need him to go far. I'm just asking him to pay attention to me. When I brought him out, he wanted to walk real fast past me, and then his idea of circling around me was quickly put to a halt, because I don't ever want a horse that comes across in front of me when they're in a hurry. I want a horse that stops when I stop. If they move their feet when I stop moving my feet, I'll send them backward pretty quick. He stopped pretty quick there, but he didn't. When I first brought him out and just started introducing myself and kind of starting to get to know him, he wanted to just race right past me. He was in a real hurry to get out here. He didn't know where we were going, but he thought he was in a hurry to get there. Good boy. I'm gonna back up a step right there. Back up. Good boy. Back up. Little bit back, little bit faster. There you go. Pay attention. Yep. Good boy. So I'm just telling him, hey, you're not supposed to walk ahead of or in front of people. That's rude. If you do, you're going to stop and back up pretty quickly, and that kind of re-engages his brain and helps him think before he goes racing past me. He wanted to race past me through the gate. That's not really polite, so we'll nip that in the bud pretty quickly and just help him with some ground manners. And that's how I do that. If a horse is coming past me, I do not ever circle a horse. If they're in a hurry to get somewhere, I don't circle them. And the reason I don't do that is I don't want to teach a horse that when they're in a hurry, they can circle around me. They can just control where their feet go, and they can do little loop-de-loops, because that brings them into my space and all up in my bubble, and I don't want them there. And I also don't want them to think that they're in charge of where their feet go when they are in a hurry or when they are stressed or any of those sorts of things. So instead of circling, what I do is I stop quickly and I send them backwards. And I find very quickly that what happens is I start walking and they start being a little more responsible for their position at the end of my lead rope. He's next to me, but he's about 3 feet away from me, and he's a little bit behind me, and that's what I want. I want him out to the side and a little behind so that I can see him. He's not directly behind me. He's in my line of sight here in my peripheral vision, and I can see him out of my right eye pretty good. And I can be aware, so that of when I stop, his feet stop, and I can be aware of where he's at all the time, and then I can help him learn to look to me for direction, and he gets the responsibility of the slack in that lead rope. So if my lead rope's dragging the ground, he's too close, I'm going to stop him, back him up pretty quick. Real soon he'll learn, hey, she doesn't want that lead rope to touch the ground. She wants me in this spot. And it doesn't matter where that spot is. It doesn't matter if I want my horse to walk at my shoulder. The key there is that he learns where the spot is that I want him to be in, and he stays in that spot. And when he's not in that spot, I stop him and I back him up. And I put intention in my backing him up. That's how I teach a horse to walk where I want them to. Doesn't matter where I put him or where I want him to walk. Doesn't matter if you prefer a horse closer to you, further behind you. Doesn't matter. It's the fact that he goes where I ask, when I ask, and he stays in that position unless I ask him to change it. So that's what we're working on right now. Once I get him doing that and following up with me pretty good here and backing up when I ask. Oh, there's a little bit of hurry. I'm going to send him backwards. Back up, back up. I'm not sending him backwards in a hurry or fast. I'm not asking for a ton of action here yet. He's just learning this. Back up. So I'm going real slow with my ask. I'm just teaching him, hey, this is what I want. We'll get quicker as we get better. But he is giving it to me, and he's waiting out there at the end of my line. I really like that. Once I get that really solid, it'll take probably another 15 minutes or so, maybe less. We'll get him moving that shoulder side to side and stepping out and away from me with his shoulder, and then I'll have independent controls, so to speak, of the front end and the hind end. I can move his hind end the direction I want, and I can move the front end the direction I want. And all of that helps me when I start to ride a horse. So that's where we start. That's how I start with all of them. Every time I get introduced to a new horse, I just do those introductions just like this. He's pretty soft. He's a pretty good guy. He's very kind. Now, didn't ask for you to move, so you should take a step back. Good boy. Back, 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 back. Good boy. Good boy. Nice. That's a good boy. This is also where I start to teach a horse to ground tie. So at one point in his training, we'll drop that rope, and I'll work towards that. I've got another video on how to do that. That's Warrior. And I'm Amy Riles with Honestly Horses. Thanks for watching. Click that like and subscribe button, and happy trails.